Well, hello everybody. My name is Bob Rombach, the founder of the We Are Network. I am super excited. This is going to come out of left field for you guys because I this is going to be so much fun for me, and I hope it's fun for you. My good friend, we were best friends during high school. He used to be the man up here. He was the play-by-play guy. He kind of asked me to come along one time, and I was hooked. So I started doing play-by-play after he left. This is going to be so much fun. This is Dan Heinrichs. He is my good buddy. He now lives in the Twin Cities area, and he's so generous to come and join me as we're gonna. Not sure where this is gonna go. I know what we're gonna do for the first couple weeks, but Dan is such a pro at all of this, and he has so much knowledge of the area. I just thought it'd be great to kind of bring him along and do something together because I don't know. You'll have to judge for yourself, but we have a really good time. It's probably going to be half the show is going to be inside jokes, but whatever. So this is Dan Heinrich. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, Bob, and thank you for having me on. I know I've been listening to what you've been doing with We Are Network for the last couple of years now. It's super cool how you've gotten Grantsburg and the surrounding community is really just psyched up and engaged with the whole network, and it is great to see. And I've listened to your podcast with Eli during the football season.
Cool.
It's so much fun hearing the banter between the two of you, and I'm thinking, me and Bob, we'd have a pretty good banter too. We probably throw a lot more like mid-90s references in there than a lot of people might understand now, since it is 25 years after we graduated high school.
Oh my gosh.
I know, isn't that nuts?
It's nuts. I know we were planning on our 25th this summer. Hopefully we can still get that going. But yeah, speaking of throwbacks, I just threw a picture on the screen, our senior year's baseball photo, and there's you and me. For you're first, I'm second, which was generally the order of finish throughout our high school career. We had okay, I don't want to get into it yet. We save that stuff because Dan always beat me at everything by 1 or 2 points, and it's a sore subject, so I'm not ready to talk about it, okay? Listen, here's what we're going to do for the first couple, maybe 2, 3, 4, I don't know how long this is going to go, but our focus is going to be on something that Dan and I got into at about the same time in our family. My family has really started to do again, but Dan and his family have really just consistently been one of the. They're not a top. There's some crazy people out there, but they have a lot of experience in this activity known as geocaching. And geocaching is a really great way for us to get out of the house. It's springtime now, and we're looking for things to do, aren't we? This is a great way to get out, go see some things that you've never seen before. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Dan, what is geocaching? You tell me.
Well, yeah, I think you nailed it when you say things like see things that you've never seen before. And I'm sure when you come down to the cities to do shopping or go to a ball game or whatever you want to do, I mean, you take the same routes every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But with the geocaching, and we'll get into this, where there's literally millions of geocaches around the world. And if you go to any kind of city park, there's odds are pretty good there's a geocache there. So it gives you an excuse to kind of get off the beaten track and see some things that you hadn't seen before. But yeah, it's just really a fun game. And I'm glad we're able to talk about this, especially right now with the pandemic going on. It's one of the few things that's kind of still up and running that you can go do.
Yeah, so just to break it down, a geocache is a container of some kind. Sometimes it's tiny, sometimes it's big, and it's hidden somewhere, like Dan just said, in a park or on the roadside or in a cemetery. They're all over the place. People get super creative with it. And what people do is they hide them, they log the coordinates, and then you get those coordinates and you try to go find the geocache. And sometimes there's things in it, little trinkets, or we'll talk about all sorts of stuff that could be in those caches. Basically all of them have what we call a log. And what's a log, Dan?
Yeah, so the log is essentially a slip of paper. Sometimes it's just a little scrap. Other times it's a full-fledged notebook that people just kind of sign whenever they find it. They just put their geocaching name, whatever they use for a handle, and the date they found it. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you went out today, we're taping this on Saturday night. So like, oh, I went out and found something day 4, 12, 20, and then you write down your name, you roll up the log, you stuff it back in the geocache, and off you go. You mentioned some of the other caches have some other things inside them. And when I went with my family last weekend, we hit up this part of a trail just south of Forest Lake, and they were all pretty big geocaches. I would say like peanut butter jar sized or bigger. And the kids were really excited because there's some random little trinkets in there. Like one of my boys really likes Super Balls. So like, all right, sweet, there's a Super Ball in here. And as I think we'll talk later on, like, hey, if you take something out of the geocache, you're expected to put something in. So we've been doing this for a while. So we have our little bag of goods that we want to just drop in there. And my wife is always pretty excited to like, oh, here's this McDonald's toy that the kids don't play with anymore. I'm going to drop this in here. Some other kid might get a kick out of a Pokemon or a Star Wars or something else. And the swag trading, it's kind of fun for the kids to do. Like for the adults, it may be more for the signing the logs and racking up the numbers. But yeah, there's just so many different ways you can play this game, and it's just something fun to do and a good excuse to get outside.
Yeah, that's 100% true. We went today and we logged, we found 25 geocaches, and that's a record for us. We're really trying to catch up to Dan. We now have, that was our 250th find, and we're still
nice work.
Oh shush, we're still rookies compared to this guy and his awesome family, because we got started at the same time. How many you guys are up to? 1,800 something? Like, what are you guys up to?
Yeah, when I went out today and I got to 1,990.
Oh,
so
really?
we're one really good day away from 2,000.
You need to definitely video that so we can show it on the next episode. Your 2,000.
I have to plan out like which is the one to go get. I don't want the 2,000th to be some little tiny little thing that's like, I got to find some big geocache and make a big presentation out of it. But
yes.
But yeah, 25 in a day. That's getting after it. That's some good work.
We got after it today. There's in our area, there's a lot of room, as you know, because you've found a lot of them up here because this is where you're from. And we went to the Fish Lake Wildlife Reserve. So there's tons of them out there, but there's a guy up here who just is crazy about hiding. His handle is Nedlow. I don't actually know his full name. Otherwise, and hopefully maybe someday you and I can like interview him, because he's like a geocaching wizard. Anyway, so we went and we actually might be able to. Well, I don't know. Yeah, well, we'll save that. I could show you kind of the trail we took, but yeah, they can be spaced as close as 1/10 of a mile apart. So we just started with one, and then 1/10 of a mile, 1/10 of a mile. Even my kids and my wife would walk to the next one down the trails, and we would find them. My daughter smashed it today. Caitlin was amazing. Zach was ticked off because he could never find it before her. Anyway, but we got to see a ton of Fish Lake Wildlife Reserve, which was another bonus. So I basically drove the Romby van and trailed behind these guys because I had no chance at finding them. But yeah, it was fun. So we knocked a whole bunch out in a few hours, and it was great. It was a beautiful day, so why not? So yeah, I think I saw your top is 49 in a day.
Yes,
that's insane.
Yeah, and the story behind that was me and my wife. This is before we had kids. We did a long weekend down in Mississippi. So yeah, shows how national this sport is. And this was years ago, and it was late winter, so things really hadn't grown in there. And someone had hung a whole bunch of those, the 2-liter pop bottles before they inflate them. They're just like those tiny little test tube things.
Yeah.
So there was every 1/10 of a mile, there was just this blue test tube hanging in these trees, and you could see them from the road. So it's like, all right, we're just literally driving this road, and it's like, here's one, here's one, here's one. It got to the point where it's like, we're going to turn off the GPS and we're just going to stop at the ones we actually see. So we could have gotten more if we like, oh, we're going to stop and get this next one and this next one. But that got a little repetitive, but at 49 in a day, I don't know if we'll do that again. And then you'll see stories from other people. So, oh yeah, we got 100 some in a day, and I don't know how you would possibly do that.
Wow. Yeah, that takes a lot of effort. So up here, I know that Gandy Dancer Trail, and that's going to be like right kind of heart and the center of the We Are Network area. The Gandy Dancer is just chock full of these geocaches. So that's a great place to start. They're probably not going to be super difficult, and a really nice place to kind of get your feet wet. So how does a person, now that they kind of have an idea of what it is, it's just like a treasure hunt in a way. Like you said, sometimes there's stuff in the cache. My son, Alex, he's 4. He loves trading. Like he traded every single time he had a chance today. It's a marble here, a toy soldier there. Like he didn't really care. A shell. The shell is kind of cool. There's nothing ever of a lot of value in these. I've seen a dollar once in a while, but there's nothing like, this isn't like searching for a Bitcoin or something like that.
Right.
So, but it's a lot of fun. So why don't we should we walk people through how to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, there we go. So here is geocaching.com. Well, actually, this is the account page. This is what you would come to, just geocaching.com. And this is what it looks like. They have a really great video right at the top. What is geocaching? I mean, Dan and I did but watch that. It's a fun little video. But here we just sign up, and you can sign up with Google, Facebook, or app. I'll just put in a new one here. I'm going to say we'll just go Bob at wearegransburg.com, and then we'll say Bob Rombach, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. This isn't my actual. Oh, see, now we're going to have to do. I'm not going
to send you the validation email.
Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to quickly find that, I hope. Let's see.
Yeah, and while you're looking that up, the
thank you.
geocaching website, I mean, that's the spot to go to see everything as far as where the nearest geocache is to you. You may have seen on Bob's page when he popped it up that said there are 1,281 geocaches nearby Grantsburg. So Bob's got the location turned on his web browser, and he's able to see that there's that many geocaches just around Grantsburg. I'm not sure how big of a radius they go to get that number, but that's a hefty number to go out and look at right away.
Yeah, it is.
And then another thing you can do once you get signed up, geocaching has an app you can download onto whatever mobile device you have, whether you have an Android or an Apple. And with the free account that you can sign up for on geocaching.com, you get a limited set of geocaches to go look at. There is a premium account that you can get, and Bob's being kind of pitched the premium upgrade right now with that big upgrade button. And I believe it's $30 a year for the premium membership.
Well, let's just take a look.
That unlocks everything that geocaching has. And we can get into some of these topics later on during our podcasting adventures. But
yeah. So here it is. It is $30. You're right, Dan, for the year. Or you can do a 3-month deal for just $10. If you're not quite sure if you want to do it, then $10 for all this fun. Seriously, it is fun. I know it sounds nerdy. I know it does. Okay, but it's fun. So here we go. This is kind of what you get, and we go to play, and this is my favorite part: viewing the map. So here is the map around my. Actually, that's not where I am. Let me put in just Grantsburg because that's where I am. Grantsburg, Wisconsin. And it should populate here. Yeah. So that's a pretty basic. I don't think that's all. Well, here, if I zoom out just a hair.
Is this the new account that you just signed up for?
This is the new account. Yep.
So they'll probably show maybe not the limited set. And it seems like you've got quite a number on there. I know through the app, they limit the geocaches to ones that are rated at a certain difficulty level.
Yeah,
and that's something we can talk about later too, how each cache is said, well, this is rated a 1 through 5 as far as how hard it is to find, and a 1 through 5 and how hard it is to get there. And through the app, on the free app, they'll give you the ones that are rated, I think, 1 and 1.5, which is plenty to get started.
So many.
Yeah. You don't think that you have to go out and pay for something that you might not like. There's tons of things that you can go and look at, give it a try, and see if this is going to be something for you.
Absolutely. So here you go. I was talking about Gandy Dancer, and this is what it is. Look at all of these, just 100, couple hundred, all the way up Gandy Dancer like that, and then all these one-offs or whatever. So I can zoom in. We can see just how many there are, and these are probably all a tenth of a mile away. So you could walk, you could bike, grab some caches, and have a good time. Should we kind of show them what one looks like?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here's Maryland. All right, so I pull up Maryland. Let's get some more info on Maryland. So each of them have their own name. They have a number. Let's see, I can't find it on this. Oh, here. So this is their number. That you don't ever have to remember that. It is highly advised to use the app. Download the app. It's free. It used to cost. Did you say that? It used to cost a little bit of money.
I think back in the day it cost maybe $10 to download the app, but since they've gone more into the premium membership, they've like, okay, once you get the premium membership, then included with that is the app and all of the geocaches on the app. So right now if you have the free account, you only see that limited set of caches.
Right on. So, well, here's the answer to part of our question. This is your difficulty, 2 out of 5 stars. Terrain, 2.5 out of 5 stars. So you get a lot of the caches. I'm not even sure. We could go back and see what the differences were, but you're going to get a lot of things to do just on the basic free geocaching side. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a fun one to look at kind of afterwards. You can see who's logged it. Let's see. Where do you see
who's all logged? Visited.
Yeah.
If you keep scrolling down, you'll see everyone who's visited the geocache.
Oh yeah, here it is. The logbook's right here. So here you go. You can see like the last time this one was found was last August 24th, and it says TFTC. I made a jump to the States for a few more Gandy caches to qualify for a challenge, so I'll try for about 5 more states before heading home. And he's talking about this one's called Maryland, so that's what he's talking about. TFTC, Dan, what's that mean?
It says thanks for the cache. So it's a way to tell the hider, thank you for taking the effort and the time to go and put this out there. And if you can go back down to that log once again. So you'll see a couple other different icons on there. And that second to the top entry was from Nedlow. Yeah. And he was the owner of this cache. And you see that little green wrench to indicate that he did some work on this cache to make sure that it's still out there. Other people had been reporting that, I didn't find this cache out there. So the owners then notified that there may be some issue with the geocache. So Nedlow went out, did some reconnaissance work and found, I guess the geocache itself was gone. And that happens from time to time. The cache itself they'll just wander off. Like if it's out in the woods, maybe some squirrel will run off with it. Or if it's in the cities, maybe someone will just steal it. And you never know when something's going to go away. But Nedlow's a really good cache owner. So he went out there, did his maintenance and replaced it. So now Lost Check, who has found 20,061 geocaches.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Here's the one with 18,000. What in the world? Oh my gosh. So yeah, Nedlow he's phenomenal around here for hiding. I think he has a 500. Because I put all of his into a list because I want to find everyone that he has hidden, because I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. Okay, good. Anything else you want to kind of touch on here? It's pretty straightforward, I think.
Yep. One other thing that you can see right kind of front and center on the page, it'll tell you what the size of the geocache is. So just right to the right, the difficulty, they'll range in size from, like, I think micro, small, regular, and then large. And since this is a regular size, this would be a good one to bring the family out to find, because it's more than likely like a peanut butter jar size type of thing. It's not something that's some like inch by inch little thumbtack you got to try to find somewhere. But this will be a good sized geocache, and probably has got some stuff inside it.
That's right. So that's kind of how that looks. I think that's a pretty good primer on that. Let's take a look. I'll sign out of this dummy one. I'll log into my other one. Oh, look, it's ready for me. So my name is BRKZC because we started this in 2010 before our Alex came along. So that is our initials. And your name, what's your name, Dan?
It's Geosports, so GEO and then the word sports. And I actually changed my name to Geosports. So if you want to tack the A on for Alex, you can certainly do that on your profile.
I know that now, and then I messed something up because I think I made another account that says BRKZCA, and then like now when I go to try to change it here, it says that account is already in use. So that's
in use.
Just brilliant move by me. But
yeah, I didn't know you could do that until someone had told me a few years ago. I was like, oh, you can change your name. Well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I decided to like combine geocaching, and since I'm such a sports guy, it's like, oh, I'm gonna throw some sports in here and try to get a little shtick going with it.
What you do with so most people just a lot of times they'll have the same thing. They say the same thing every time that they log a cache. And remember what that is on your phone. Like when you find the cache, there's an easy button to just say log, and then you go and you just write something. A lot of times I'll take a picture of whoever found it in our family because that's kind of the reward of finding it. So if you look at any of my entries, you'll see here I even have a picture of we'll show you guys. So this one is where let's see, I got to get this right here. So here's one. Zach found it, Caleb didn't. You can figure out which one's Zach and which one's Caleb by the expression on their face. So that's how I do it. So that's what the logging is and what we're talking about. But so a lot of people do the same thing. I don't do too much, but Dan, here he is, GeoSports. You can be friends on geocaching too. So here's his public page. Yep, 1990. Where's your picture?
Yeah, I haven't loaded one up.
Go to that
geocaches next to about.
All right, here we go.
Give me an example of one of the ones. Let's see. Where's the one with the list? Is the list that has the actual list of things that one is found recently? I would just so you could see one of the logs that I wrote today. If there's one I'm sure there's one that you would get a kick out of.
Oh gosh, here we go. So Commons Park,
go to try Mercury Satellite.
Okay, 1 second. Mercury
Satellite.
So yeah, like
I try to do things where it's GeoSports, like, oh, what's a score from the day? I'll just post that on there. But yeah, without sports going on, I've had to go to retro sports. So that's my login from today. And yes, I'm sure, Bob, you enjoyed the 1987 World Series quite a bit.
I did. Yes, I did enjoy that. So yeah, so hashtag 1990 or 1987 in sports, a throwback that'll bring a smile to many faces in these parts, the 1997 World Series. And you can continue to read if you become a player. Make sure you friend us. I'm BRKZC. We'll put a link. And Dan is GeoSports. And we just have a lot of fun doing this. I think we covered just about everything. I could show you oh shoot, what am I doing? Here we go. The app a little bit. Maybe we'll save the app for next time. This one's already getting a little long.
Sure.
So but yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and there's just so many things you can do with this. I know when we were just talking the other day about, well, how are we going to fill podcasts with geocaching, let alone multiple? And it's like, I've got 12 different topics you could talk about just right now. You see some of these things just on the page, like difficulty in terrain. Well, what is a difficulty 5 like? What is a terrain 5 like? And I'm pretty certain I've never found one that is both difficulty and terrain of 5. But I've seen some of them and just like read the cache descriptions and like, oh yeah, you got to take a canoe out to this island and like Well, I guess that'd be easier to do in the winter when stuff's
Yeah.
frozen. But so you can kind of game the system if you want to get a 5 terrain geocache. Oh, just wait until the lake's
Yeah.
frozen and go
Yeah.
get it. But
I was looking that one up too. You
some of the
gotta
ones
go.
you'll see, if you see a few 4s or 5s out there, there's some really creative hides.
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap this one up. This has been really fun. I can't believe it's already been this long.
I know.
But but we'll definitely keep doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I really hope you and your family, or if it's just you, just go out and see some of this stuff. Look out for fire bushes, which is what my son calls thorns. Yeah, fire bushes. Fire bushes got to him today a little bit. Ticks, you know, as it gets warmer, we'll have more bugs. It's perfect right now. There, you can see things better. The bugs are non-existent right now, and it's a wonderful time to go out and find your first cache. And we would love to hear about your first cache. In fact, we'd love to see a picture of you and your cache in the comments. Make sure you log your stuff on geocaching.com. Make sure you friend both Dan and me. And then on Facebook, you know, underneath this episode, we would love to see a picture of you with your first find, and maybe we'll put it on the episode next time. So anything else, Dan, before we call her quits?
No, it makes me want to go out and find a few more, even though it's the middle of the night.
Yeah. Ooh, have you ever done that?
I've not.
All right. Well, go do it, and we'll talk about
There
it
we
next
go.
time. All right, my man. Well, this has been fun, Danny. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, happy caching.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
You bet. Bye-bye.